Hello everyone, today we're going to be walking through one of our custom Power BI templates for Epicor Kinetic ERP users. If you aren't aware, we have built 6 templates using Epicor's SQL database as the data source. Basically, we pull the essential metrics that a manufacturer would typically monitor from an Epicor perspective and make them even easier to get to. The goal of these templates is to allow you to skip right into analyzing data instead of messing with the tables and data models. So this demo will be focused on the materials review template, but like I said, we have 5 other templates available. Those demos will be linked in the description below. Before I get into it, just a quick reminder that these reports are available online through the Power BI service via Microsoft 365. If you have a Power BI license, just log in with your Microsoft 365 credentials to access the reports that you've been given access to. Okay, so I'm logged into my Office 365 Power BI service, and these are the 4 templates I have available. So if we go into the materials review template, this report focuses on materials management, so including purchase orders, deliveries, and inventory. The first tab here is on-time delivery. This tab looks at all your purchase orders down to the release level, comparing the due date of that release to when you actually received the order. So essentially, it's tracking whether or not you received it on time, factoring in a grace period that you choose. So in this case, we're looking at a 2-day grace period. So if it was due on Monday, you have until Wednesday to receive it and still have it considered on time. So the big metric here is it compiles all those orders and calculates your on-time percentage. Then with this chart, you can track how you're trending over time as well as how you're comparing to your goal, which here it's showing a 90% goal. Then to the right, you can see the breakdown by individual vendors to identify your top vendors in terms of the number of deliveries and their on-time percentage against the goal. For this example, with this third vendor, you can see they had the third most deliveries in this time frame and a lower on-time percentage. I can click into this vendor and my charts will update across the board. Now I see the trend for this specific vendor, and right away what I notice is these couple months with significant dips. So if I click onto one of these particular months, I can see that in this case, 29% of deliveries were late. I then can view all the details of those late deliveries, including the actual number of days late. I can also look at a specific time frame using these date filters. For instance, if I want to look at just our 2020 data, I can search for that year and evaluate how we performed during that time. I can also analyze the last 13 months with just a click of a button. And this allows me to see how we did this month versus the same month last year. Additionally, I can filter by a particular vendor using this search bar to the right. I can also change the dimension from vendor to buyer to see how various buyers performed in terms of on-time percentage. I can also drill down into a specific vendor and see the breakdown for that vendor in terms of the different buyers, which in this case is just one buyer. The next tab focuses on early deliveries. So this tracks all your deliveries that were delivered early with a 5-day grace period. I do want to point out that this grace period is adjustable, so you can change it to what you think. Similar to the previous tab, you can see trends over time and breakdowns by vendors. For example, if I want to look at July or August, I can see which buyers contributed most to the early delivery percentage. I can also view all of my early deliveries, including actual order numbers, due dates, early dates, and when they were actually received, as well as how many days early they arrived. I can sort this table to find any outliers, such as deliveries that were significantly early. You can see here that one arrived almost half a year early, so I want to take that into account when looking at my overall percentage. The next tab is Vendor Spends, which looks at all of our invoices and plots them as a trend. So you can see a cumulative spend for the current year to date, year-over-year comparisons, and then which vendors you're spending the most with. By expanding this pivot table, you can see more into the buyers too. And as always, you can make selections in these charts and everything else will update accordingly. For instance, I see a spike here in June of 2020, so I can click on this bar to see if most of that spend was with a particular vendor, and then I can analyze the details in the table below. This allows me to identify key vendors driving costs and focus my attention in those areas. The Purchase Price Variance tab tracks the difference between the unit cost on the purchase order and the unit cost on the invoice. So this helps quickly identify whether vendors are overcharging or undercharging. This graph is a good overview of this data, sorting by total variance. You can click on a particular vendor to see individual invoices and variances, which can provide valuable data for discussions regarding pricing issues. Next, this tab is tracking purchase order lines due in the upcoming week. So this helps you see how much you're planning to receive and whether you need additional capacity for those deliveries. This allows for better planning and resource allocation. Good forward-looking metrics on this tab. And then this tab provides location-based analytics showing how you can track metrics on a map. Vendors are plotted by their address with points sized by the number of total deliveries and then colored based on their on-time percentage. You can also hover over the individual points to get more information. This is a good visual representation allowing for quick assessment of vendor performance across different regions. And then finally, the inventory tab. This takes all of your inventory across warehouses and looks at the last time that inventory was used. It then groups them into different buckets, allowing you to see active inventory and slow-moving or obsolete inventory. You can drill down into specific parts and see their details, including quantity, value, and where it specifically is, looking at a specific warehouse or bin number. You can also drill down by month range, warehouses, part class, and production group. And then just remember, if you filter one aspect of these dashboards, the filter will carry throughout. If you have any questions or want to learn more about how this would look with your Epicor data, please reach out to our team at helpdesk@2wtech.com. We're the Epicor Global Partner of the Year because of our proven Epicor expertise, client success, and innovation. So if you want to see those in action, reach out. Remember to check out the description below for more demos as well.